The gadget I'm going to talk about today is in almost no way connected to my smart home. It's the AeroGarden Harvest, which I use to grow fruit and vegetables all year round right here on my desk where I work. It's always nice in the summer to have a grow bag in the garden with some tomato plants in, maybe some pots around with peppers in, that sort of thing. Those are my two favourite fruits, tomatoes and peppers. But when it comes to winter, I have to go to the supermarket to get them. So wouldn't it be nice if there was some way to grow them all year around with hardly any effort at all? Well, meet my AeroGarden. I've had this for about 6 years now and it's still going strong. It grows plants using a method called hydroponics, which is a way of growing plants in nutrient-rich water instead of soil. If you look at the bottom of this, there's a great big bowl here and that's full of water. And there are 6 sort of holes in the top where you can slot plants in. This is a seed pod and into there you put a grow sponge. The seed pod is just basically a plastic insert that holds the grow sponge at the right level in the water in the tank. Into there you put 3 seeds and then you slot this into one of the holes on the top of the AeroGarden. Over the top of this you then put a little plastic dome and that turns it into a mini greenhouse. Once the seeds have germinated, you pluck the 2 weakest ones out and leave the strongest one to grow. There's a grow light on this model too, which supposedly provides the perfect mix of wavelengths for plants to grow, and there's a timer on it too. You can set it to 16 hours for vegetables, 18 hours for herbs, or 24 hours for that full North Pole experience. Not all plants are suited to being grown like this. This is a dwarf pepper plant, and as you can see, here's a fruit here, and it's doing quite nicely. I get quite a few of these, and there's several peppers on the plant at different stages, including some flowers. I've also grown tomatoes, cherry tomatoes in this, and chili peppers. I've had so many chili peppers. I've got a tub of dried chili peppers in the kitchen that's going to last me a lifetime. With the plants I tend to have to trim them back a couple of times a year just to stop them growing out of hand. But generally there's not much maintenance to do on them. I only grow 2 plants because you don't want to grow too many at the same time, otherwise they might get a bit overcrowded. Every 2 weeks the add nutrients light comes on and I have to add some liquid nutrients to the water bowl. Now you can use AeroGarden's own formula, but I found this was really expensive and quite difficult to get hold of at times. So what I ended up buying was this stuff called Formulex. It's like a massive 1 litre bottle and it's lasted me absolutely ages. I put 10 ml of this into the AeroGarden and then reset the timer on it to alert me in 2 weeks' time. Inside the water tank is a small pump and it clicks on for about 5 minutes once an hour. It's running right now while I'm recording it, so I don't know whether the microphone will pick it up or not. It's like a low hum. It doesn't bother me. It's certainly quieter than a fish tank. In terms of maintenance, if I was clearing it out, maybe the plants have died or I want a change of plant, then I'll give the bowl a good clean out, and next to where the pump is a little tiny bit of sponge, and that sponge is like a filter to stop gunk getting in and breaking the pump. All I do is I cut out another identical piece of sponge and slot it in place where the old one was. My AeroGarden at about 6 years old is getting a bit old and crusty now, and you might be able to see some dirt around that I can't quite scrape off. I mean, it's still working well, but you may also have noticed a few other modifications I've made to it. So firstly, you'll see this little reflective screen in the background. It's just foil covering a piece of cardboard, and then I've taped the edges around. All it's doing is it's reflecting the light back in, so as much light as possible can hit the plants. And you can actually see, I don't know if you can see actually, right at the back, the plants tend to grow a lot better back there where it's lighter, so it does make a big difference. And you'll also see this big bottle of water here. Now this is the AeroGarden Reservoir or Aerovoir or something like that. It holds another 4 litres of water, and that's in addition to the main tank at the bottom, and this is quite useful for if you go on holiday, you go away for a couple of weeks. If you've got things like tomatoes in this, then they're really quite thirsty plants, and they will drain this in a couple of days. Like every 2-3 days I'd be topping up the main tank. With this, I can go away for a couple of weeks, no problem at all. It's connected via a little water tube, and it works like a siphon. There's a little siphon squeezy pump around the back that you can use to get the flow going, and it's really quite useful. But I had to import this from the US. I couldn't find a UK supplier, so this was quite expensive for what it is really. Now, you can't actually get this exact same model of AeroGarden anymore, but they do sell an updated model, plus versions with smart connectivity. If you're in the UK, getting hold of a genuine AeroGarden can be expensive because they're mainly a US based company. There are many other brands available, similar products for a lot less money, strikingly similar actually. I can't vouch for the quality of them. My AeroGarden, it's been running continuously for almost 6 years, so if you're able to get hold of this brand, then I do recommend it, but you could buy 3 cheaper ones for the price of one of these. So as for power and energy consumption then, which is very much at the top of people's priority lists at the moment, and I'm looking down here because I've written down my notes. So obviously this is running 24/7. This model has a 20 watt grow lamp, or it's rated at 20 watts. I've monitored it, usually at 17, maybe 20 watts when the pump is running as well. But it's on for the 16 hours a day. The pump kicks in for 5 minutes every hour, which I've already told you, and over a 24-hour period it uses 0.3 kilowatt hours, which isn't that much, but that's 2.1 kilowatt hours per week, or 109 kilowatt hours per year. So if we take a price of 33 pence per kilowatt hour, that means that this costs £36 a year to run, which I don't think is too bad actually. So I haven't done any calculations myself to work out whether it's financially worthwhile growing fruit and vegetables like this compared to buying them from the supermarket. I think once you've bought the AeroGarden and you've got seeds, seed pods, grow sponges, nutrients, the electricity to run it, there's obviously a lot of considerations there, but just from a sake of having a little bit of nature sitting next to you while you work, I think it's worth it personally. I mean, I'm in a tiny little study full of computers, lights, monitors, speakers. I'm just looking around, and I'm not much for decorating this room. There's no artwork on the wall or anything, but having the plants right next to me, it's quite a nice little bit of nature, as I said. Anyway, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, then please give it a like, and I'll put links to where you can get things like the AeroGarden and the nutrients and stuff from down in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more videos from me. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.